morning and welcome to Concrete Coffee presented by Glue Down. I'm your host today, Chad Bruce, and today I have with me Rens Hansort with SureBuilt Concrete Forms. He is currently located in Chicago, but also lives in Florida. And I'm going to assume you spend most of your winters in Chicago and the summers in Florida. Is that right?
Yeah, I try to pick the best of both worlds, Chad. So when it's too hot there, I'm in Chicago. When it's too cold here, I'm in Tampa. So what you can ask for more?
I will say my brother lived in Chicago for a while, and it was actually one of my favorite places to visit. We rode bikes all around town. It was a really fun city.
It is a fun city, especially in the summertime.
Definitely. Well, let's get started. It's tradition on Concrete and Coffee. One of our things is talk about our cup of Joe for the day. So what are you working with? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking coffee, Chad. Latte. I'm a latte guy.
Fancy. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Bring some to it. The one thing that's come out of this whole situation is my fiance, wife, whatever you want to call her nowadays, very close to being wife. She always makes me a really nice cup of coffee to start every day. So I'm actually drinking something extra special that's frothy on top, a little bit of cinnamon. I'm not going to lie, it's pretty good. Starbucks has got nothing on Dana right now.
Okay, I made my usual stop at Dunkin' Donuts this morning. So
it's good stuff. Now, did you get the donuts too, or do you just
no, just the coffee.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I wanted to jump into our conversation today. I know you sent us a couple things to talk about, a little bit of getting to know you better, and one of the things that jumped out to me that I was actually really excited to talk to you about was your classic car, or classic truck. So fill me in a little bit. I'm a car guy, so that got me excited. Tell me about your truck.
I'm a car guy too, so yeah, we always like nice cars, and especially older ones. And we were looking for years and years to find the right truck, and prices go up and down, and right now they are getting crazy again. So yeah, we finally cut the nut and said we found one and we're going to buy it. So it's a work in progress. So it's a 66 F100 that is partially done and still needs to be finished on the inside and the bed. But it's driving fun with that car. It's a weekend driver.
Yeah, so, well, we're definitely going to post a picture of this so everybody can see this beauty. You say that it's not ready. Well, the exterior looks fantastic, at least in the photos you sent us. So what was the reason why what was the 46, F-150? What was the reason for that?
I think it's more the looks and the old style of body. I think the 50s and 60s era has that kind of style that like, there's no limitation. The shapes and the forms were all exceeding each other every year. So it's a nice era of cars, and they look beautiful. Big engines, they drive nice.
Absolutely. So was there a draw to this particular Ford, or were you just looking for a classic car and this is the one that came to you?
Well, we were looking for a 50, 58, 59 model. And when we were looking, we stumbled on this one that was partially finished. So the price was right and the looks were good. So we bought it.
That's a classic situation. So I take it your wife was on board. She was ready.
Yeah, no, she was the one that pushed me to buy it because she wanted it badly.
Well, that's actually pretty great. So yeah. I'll tell a very quick story of why my dad. We kind of grew up around cars, and my dad really wanted a mid-60s Corvette, and that was his dream car. And later in life, when he had an opportunity to get it, my mom was adamant against getting one of these classic cars. And so my dad finally won her over and they got it. And within a month or two, they had gone to a local hamburger place one night and some people came up and started talking to my dad about the car, and my mom stepped in and she ended up saying, oh, it's this, it's that, and was bragging about the car. And my dad looked over and was like, wait a minute, do you actually love this car now? She's like, yes, this is a great, oh, I don't know why we didn't do this sooner. And of course my dad was like, yeah, I've been asking for 10 years now.
I know. I like to do something in the weekends. If it's not the yard, I cannot sit still, so I have to tinker around with some stuff. So, and this is a nice project.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I look forward to seeing it in person one of these days. That would be great. Well, I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk about your background. For those that don't know you, you're originally from the Netherlands, and so I wanted to dive into this a little bit because a guy from the Netherlands coming into the States and working in construction. You are the business development manager, so I know you see different parts of the country. But what sort of brought you to being in the United States and being a part of SureBuilt?
Just to give you a little bit of history, Chad. When I had a company in Europe, we were making lifting hardware and lifting inserts for the European market, and we got a call from a company at that time, Universal Form Clamp in Chicago, that was looking for a lifting system and hardware for tiltup. So we got in contact. We started supplying in the late 90s, and at that time business was growing, so we built up a relationship with the owner of the company, Tom Fay, at the time. And in 2001 he asked me, why wouldn't you come over to the United States and set up product lines for us? So basically since then I'm involved with that was at that time Universal Form Clamp, later on Universal Building Products, and now today it's called SureBuilt. So it's basically a long history of the same people with 3 different names and changing company names, but the same people, same products, and that's a little bit of history. So we came over, started working for them, and we stayed afterwards ever since.
Oh, that's great. And I apologize. I didn't realize the background of you working in the same industry over in the Netherlands, so that you've just sort of followed through your career here, coming over to the States. I mean, that's not a lot of people have that opportunity just to flow like that. So that's great.
Yeah, we had some different products in Europe compared to traditional construction products here in the United States. So it was a good opportunity to bring some newer stuff, some different products up to these States.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, really off track here, but I just out of curiosity, I know a lot of what you focus on in with SureBuilt is precast, and with tiltup markets, I know you service other ones as well. Do you see much correlation between the materials you build today with your company, with SureBuilt, and the materials and the way the building methods in Europe? I mean, is Europe adopting precast or doing precast and tiltup?
Well, Europe is a little bigger a market for precast because it's more driven by labor costs and automatization. So pre-molded and pre-built precast panels in Europe is very common, and it's a very large market. Tiltup is not so much known because of the diversity, different climates, different countries, but tiltup is big here in the United States. So we developed that market for a market share for SureBuilt that way. It's the principles are the same. It's just a matter of casting it in a factory or casting it outside on a casting slab. So that's the main difference. There's not a lot of tiltup in Europe, but a lot of tiltup in the United States. So the different mix of use of precast type elements.
Okay, sorry, I apologize. It was cutting out a little bit on you there at the end, but can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay. Yeah, they cut out there for a second. I don't know if it was on my end or your end, but so yeah, I've always been interested in learning a little bit more about the building methods over in Europe, because that's not a place we concentrate on today, but I'd love to grow our business over there. switching back to, I am curious, with your background of being from the Netherlands, are you a big football fan, European soccer fan?
I played soccer myself all my life, and different levels that you can see in Europe than here in the United States. You grow up with soccer there from when you're almost when you can start walking. You join a team and you start playing until you cannot walk anymore. So your whole life you play soccer, not only in college or high school, or if you're not good enough in the United States, you have to go to a recreational park to play soccer. Over there, it's still competitive on different levels. So I played soccer myself all my life, and yeah, my favorite team, of course, out of the Netherlands is Ajax Amsterdam. It's probably one of the best teams in the world.
Okay. Well, I have a very small connection to the Netherlands and soccer. I was there during the 2014 World Cup. I was actually in Amsterdam, and I got to watch. I'm trying to think who they played. Maybe it was Argentina. Did they play? I can't remember exactly which one, but watching you Americans, we don't understand because we're football or baseball or basketball, but I mean, soccer is just a totally different experience. And watching the entire city being just entrenched in this match was truly amazing. And I watched, of course, the celebrations afterwards and everything. It was a fun city to be in for the World Cup for sure.
Yes, especially for a small little country as the Netherlands, try to compete with all the big countries in most of the time in the top 3, top 4 of the world. So
yeah, it was great. Well, so I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about it because you do have a great background in construction. What do you think the big challenges that we are facing in construction are today?
well, there's a lot of construction going on nowadays, even because we are, of course, an essential part of the business in the economy. I think the economy will slow down a little bit, so the challenges will be investors not pulling back too early. Don't get scared to invest. I think we should try to keep at least a minimum level of investment and construction going through investment money or stimulus money for highways and construction. And I think that's feasible. Interest rates are low, so money should not be a problem. I think it's more the confidence of investors and the market itself. I think that's the biggest challenge at this moment.
Definitely, hopefully we don't get to the point of having an FDR and having to really get into construction, but it does seem, even if you look back at '08 through the recession that happened there, as construction was one of the leading industries that helped pull us back out of it. So that's, if we get to that point, you and me, we're going to be doing another one of these. We'll talk strategy, and we'll tell the people in Washington what to do to get it together.
Correct.
So it kind of maybe going along this, but maybe less from a financial standpoint. What do you see as far as trends in any construction? Maybe what's going on with SureBuilt, and what are you seeing that's maybe methods or building models that's sort of the future for you?
Well, and as SureBuilt, we focus on a couple of areas in the construction industry. We have a big division of our company is dedicated to self-rising, self-climbing cores for high rises. So we supply a hydraulic system that self-climbs usually 25 stories and up in big cities where you have that construction. So we have a market share in that respect that brings for us along all the components that go into it and a core that climbs up to 70, 80, 90 stories. So we supply all the reinforcement, the connections from the core to the slabs and to the walls. So it's a package for us that we have a nice market share in. And then,
Okay.
of course, the diversity in the market that we do with precast and tiltup. So we have those two divisions. Same, we try to grow it by integrating more products for that product group or for that product market. We do that with tiltup and also with precast. Because if you see what we initially as a supplier for tiltup, we started with a lift and brace system. So adding to those projects, we started to add flooring products, plastic products like we talked about in the last couple of months, forming brackets that you have to nail or glue down to give them like a reusable product that's more sustainable and more friendly to use instead of throwing away wood that you cut up every time and throw it in the dumpster. So we try to focus on those markets and try to complement our product line that we basically supply to those markets.
Yeah, and actually, in one of our first episodes of Concrete and Coffee, your company, your braces, where somebody gave you a shout out on the success that they had on a job. I don't know if you're aware of that job up in Salt Lake City where your braces held through a earthquake. So apparently, you're making some good quality products.
Yeah, we do our testing here ourselves. We couldn't ask for more than an earthquake to have our braces tested for earthquake zones. So it's it was a good commercial for us to promote our braces. And
yeah, it doesn't get much better than that.
I know, and in that same area there were several projects that had drop down panels, and once we had our big braces on there, they were still standing.
That's great. Not obviously, making sure people are safe on the job site is an important part of all of our jobs, and that's a fantastic news for you guys.
Yeah, and fortunately, this was one of our newer type braces, Chad. We developed a whole line of what we call a modular brace because the panels going wider, higher. You see all the big boxes, Amazons. Distribution centers, they go from 40, 50, 60, now they go up to 70, 80 foot panels. Multi-story office buildings are being erected in tiltup. So the requirement for that is that you have to have the braces that suit that market. So we developed what we call a modular brace in different pipe diameters and sections, so you can bolt them together as you like. If you have a 60-foot panel, then you bolt a 10-foot section on. If you have a 70-foot panel, you bolt two 10-foot sections on, instead of having one brace for every length that you cannot utilize all the time. So it's a little bit of a game changer for the market to have the ability to have like an adjustable system that's very easy to use with maybe less investment, and it's stronger. So you use less braces on the panel, so you have less labor on the job. So those are the factors that we are looking at in innovating products here at SureBuilt.
Well, and I'm kind of curious talking about that, because you're right. I mean, we spend a lot of time in our tilt space. I know it's a big part of your business. There is this push to bigger and bigger and bigger, heavier panels, deeper panels. You get insulated panels now, they're 14 inches deep. I mean, there are some massive pieces of concrete that are going up in the air. From your side, are you driving the brace technology, or are you having contractors come to you or engineers and saying, hey, we need something that's going to be able to withstand these heavier loads? How do you approach that?
Well, it's listening to your customers and looking at trends in the market. You see traditionally a growing market since the 60s. They started with panels 20, 25 foot high, in the 70s 30 foot high, in the 80s 40 foot high, the 90s, 50-foot high. Now it's more a trend, 60, 70. A lot of jobs, plus the multi-story type building that tiltup was not really good at. But in the last 10 years, that market is developed into a market for tiltup. And we try to accommodate the customers. And we can do the same as our competitors, build the same brace and make it a little bit longer and put more braces on it. So we thought about it and we said, well, why don't we make a system that's stronger? You need less, but it's more versatile in components. So that's the market that we look at, the trends, and I think that's changing the market to the next level of bracing products. So
yeah, and so I was excited to see some more of you. I know you were talking about some of your forming brackets and some other new materials you have that you've come out with in the tilt space. Unfortunately, the show is going to be virtual this year, and so we're not going to have that sort of face-to-face sort of thing. But maybe the World of Concrete, we have an opportunity to get together and see some of your new hardware. Sorry, I can't talk right now. So I just kind of one more question for you, because you do travel the country and get to see different building methods and processes across the country. Do you feel like there's any underrated tools or jobs that happen on these sites that maybe don't get appreciated the way they should? Is there anything that jumps out to you that just, man, like that's the most important thing on every job when I go there? When I see that, I know that's a quality company, something along those lines?
well, every job site is different, and you see the different qualities of different contractors. And there's traditional contractors that build the same thing for the last 25 years, and they don't want to change, and they're going to do the same thing over and over again. And with the market pushing for bigger panels, nicer finishes, architectural and office buildings, that changed the market a little bit, and you have to adapt to those changes and see where the opportunities are, where better products are needed or better methods are implemented, and where the contractor get that advantage of building faster, safer, and higher. So it's a lot of the communication and good people on the job site.
So out of curiosity, during the wintertime, living in Florida, do you refuse to go to markets like Canada?
No. I go wherever I need it and where we see an opportunity. So that's not an option. It's only for the weekends. My wife wants me home by the weekend.
Okay, well, good. I am curious because I'm a Texas guy. I've been in Texas almost my entire life, and whenever I get that phone call, Shane with DivCon up in Spokane's got a great story about me getting pulled up there in the middle of winter time, and I think that job site was about 15 degrees, and probably one of the most miserable experiences of my life. I think I left Dallas and it was 75 degrees, and I went up there and I was like, never again. That's what I have people for. Get somebody else on the plane.
It's the same in Florida too. In the summertime, if you have to go to a job site and it's 95 degrees on a concrete slab, you're gonna be sweating your ass off.
Absolutely. That's what I want the northern guys to come down to Texas and be like, you don't realize that those slabs will reach 150 degrees on the slab itself in the middle of summertime. It's a hot box. So I wanted to wrap up with you. Tell me a little bit about one of your favorite jobs that you have done in your career, just something you're really proud of.
We started a couple of years ago a product line, what we call stud rail. It's a double-headed stud that is placed to reinforce reinforce slabs around columns to avoid capital heads. So you can construct with thinner slabs and flat slabs, and it's a growing market for us. It's a growing market in the United States because more engineering companies apply it. it's now accepted by codes, and it's a growing market. So in the last couple of years, we had a couple of projects. One was the Wynn Casino in Boston, was a big project. We did last year the expansion of Javits Center in New York City. Was probably one of the biggest jobs that the last year that was on the market. Was extremely big, thick slabs, big studs. So not everybody is geared up to do that. And when we applied for the jobs, we had to take in consideration that we had to get some equipment to even do the job. So when we get the job awarded, we got the equipment. We bought new used equipment. We modified it. We have a great crew of tool and die makers in our shop. We set that product line up, and it was like 80,000 3/4 by 24-inch studs with different length configurations, different layouts. We had to do the engineering. We had to do the shop drawings. We had to do identification layouts because the studs were varying in so many heights, different areas of the column. It was like a good job if you can focus on it, and it was a big success for us. It was done 2-3 months early. We supplied everything on the job, like per request. It was a nice job. It had challenges because it's everything that's big is not always good, but we worked through it with the contractor, what he wanted and how they wanted it, and we finished that job pretty good. And that's what I think the success story for us is, not taking only the small jobs but big jobs and make that work.
That's great. Well, and I was fortunate enough, I really appreciate last summer, almost a year ago now, I got the opportunity to come visit your facility, and you gave us a tour and showed us what you have. You have great workspace, great employees, and definitely the ability to custom make solutions for contractors. So it sounds like that's right in your alley, what you've been able to do. And if you haven't had a chance to talk to Rens at SureBuilt about their capabilities, you definitely got to do that and go see their facility if he's kind enough to take you around. And so I'm going to kind of finish up on that. And so just kind of tell me a little bit about what SureBuilt's got going on nowadays. What are the exciting things for you looking forward? And yeah, just kind of fill me in on the high points of your life right now and what's going on with Rens as well.
Well, we try to finish up and broaden some more product lines and fill that in to get a bigger package of the industry as a company. Part is change to innovate, and you have to sometimes change a couple of times to get it perfect. So we try to keep an open mind in bringing products to the industry that are required and that we see that's the future. So as SureBuilt, we're going to add on another foaming panel line in the next year. We have 2 or 3 more products that we add on to our precast line. We try to get more awareness of our products by email blast, visit our website. There's a lot of videos on how we manufacture projects that we do, and animations of products that we try to push in the market. Because the market is changing, and we try to change with it. So that's the challenge, I think, for SureBuilt in the next couple of years. Personally, I'll try to go back and forth between Tampa and Florida. We expanded to our California operation as well. So we need some focus on there to grow the market in California. So expanding the company, I think that's the challenge, and I think we have a good owner that it's a privately owned company. So the lines of management and is very short, and if there's an opportunity to invest or to do something, we can do that pretty fast.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I've again meeting your ownership group there and everything when I was there last time, and you guys have a great company. Well, I appreciate your time today. Hopefully, you've enjoyed your first sit-in on Concrete and Coffee. Love to chat with you again in the future, and hopefully, we have a chance, sooner than later, to see each other face to face. Maybe one of my next trips down to Tampa, I'll come see you. So appreciate your time today.
We'll be in contact. We are working on our bigger foam bracket as we speak. So in the next couple of weeks, we have to go and test that out on the field, and we use your guys' as glue down.
We appreciate that, definitely. All right, Rens, I appreciate your time, and have a great day.
Okay, thanks, Chet. Take care.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.